Okay guys, add 6 egg yolks and cover with a bowl. Now place the egg yolks in the center of the pan with the heat on low. While heating, butter the side of the pan. Spread a lot of butter until melted. Now add the whites of the 6 eggs. Put around. Now with a small fouet, beat the eggs white. Whip until nice and white. This is what it should look like, whipping over low heat. And just continue whisking and mixing. Okay, now add the spices. Parsley. Add black pepper. And spread well. Don't put too much. Add salt. Add cheese. You can use whatever cheese you prefer. I'm using mozzarella cheese. And I'm adding this more yellow cheese just to make the recipe a little prettier. Now add a few drops of ketchup and add some space between them. Now stir in the egg whites well. And you'll see while the yolks cook, the egg whites fry really well. And even if it is soft, just keep stirring. And add more butter. Swirl around the sides of the pan. And the margarine should drain. I'm cooking on low heat. Now let's remove the bowl because the yolks have already cooked. Make sure to use a cloth so you don't burn yourself. Now look at the yolks. Turn off the heat and release the yolks. Separate the yolks and mix with the egg whites. It's a different omelet. This is how it should look. Shall we try it? Wow, the yolks stay whole. It's very good. And some great different flavors. These noodles are so delicious that everyone always asks me for the recipe. So here it is. Start with the noodles. We're going to add boiling water to a saucepan. And you want to use very hot water to just make the cooking a little bit easier. Now add 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to add pasta, 250 grams of pasta. And just let the pasta cook for 10 to 15 minutes. Now we're going to prepare the meat while cooking the noodles. So go ahead and add some oil to a pan. Then add 2 chopped garlic cloves, 1 chopped onion, and just saute these ingredients over medium heat. Now you're going to add 500 grams of ground beef. And just saute the meat with your seasoning. Now, when the meat begins to change colors like this, it is time to season. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of black pepper, 1 spoonful of paprika, and now just stir to season that meat. Wow, the meat smells so wonderful. So after sauteing really well, we're going to add the other ingredients. We're going to add 1 chopped green bell pepper, and then half of a red bell pepper, also chopped, 2 chopped tomatoes, half of a chopped yellow bell pepper, and olives. And then just stir everything together again. And when you've sauteed all of the spices, it is almost ready. We're just going to add 300 grams of tomato sauce. You can see how delicious this is. I love the taste of this meat so much. The tip here is to really let it cook for a few minutes. It's going to get so fragrant and flavorful, and then it is ready. So go ahead and turn the heat off and set aside. And now with the noodles ready, we are just going to remove the water and now add the noodles to a large bowl. You want to spread it out well in that bowl and then add the meat sauce on top. Wow, it smells so wonderful. So this is quick, easy, and practical noodles. And then just with the help of 2 forks, you just want to mix all of these ingredients really well. After mixing, our meat and the noodles are almost ready. We're just going to finish with a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. The cheese just gives the pasta a nice, rich, salty taste. It's definitely worth adding Parmesan or mozzarella. And that's it. Your recipe is ready. Should we go ahead and try it? Serve this on a plate and enjoy. I guarantee you that the taste of this sauce will win your heart. Enjoy.
Add flour to some boiling hot water. We're going to start with 2 cups of flour and 600 mils of water. We're also going to need 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of oil. Stir and mix this dough well. Now we're going to cook this over a low heat until that dough is cooked. The consistency of the dough is thicker, but it's still very homogeneous. Stir well until that's nice and cooked. And this is the ideal point of our dough. Turn off the heat and pour that dough on a work surface here. And we're just going to leave that to cool. I'm now going to add some olive oil. And let's knead this for a few minutes until it's nice and smooth. And this is the ideal point of our dough. It is smooth and it is super soft. I'm now going to separate small pieces of dough just like this. And we're just going to roll them into small balls. Repeat the process with all of them. Now it's time to prepare our filling. We're going to start with 150 grams of grated mozzarella cheese, 1 chopped onion, some parsley, and half a teaspoon of paprika. Let's give this a good mix. And we're going to finish the recipe by rolling out those dough balls a little bit, just using our hands. Nice and easy. Once that's rolled out, we're going to add 1 spoonful of that filling we just made right in the middle. Super easy, super delicious. We're going to close that dough just like this, and you can just do it with your fingers, super easy. Now, with a small glass bowl, we're going to just press down and make a cut in the dough just like this.
Oh.
This just makes it nice and even and super pretty. It's in the shape of a pastry now. Now, we're going to finish by frying this dough in some hot oil. When it's nice and golden brown, just gently turn them over so we can fry the other side. Just like this. And our recipe is ready. Look how delicious these look. Serve them on a plate and just remove any excess oil like this. Easy and super delicious. Your family is just gonna love the taste of this recipe. Shall we give it a try? It's just so crunchy and crispy and really yummy. Look how yummy these look. I hope you enjoy. When I make chicken like this, everyone always asks me for the recipe because it is that good. So I'm going to start by cracking 3 eggs into a bowl. We're also going to need 1 tablespoon of salt. Let's also season with half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to add some parsley and spring onions in there. 2 grated garlic cloves. And some grated Parmesan cheese. Stir everything together and mix nice and gently. You can see how easy this is, and this is going to taste perfect. This seasoning is great and it will make our meat so tasty. This is easy, quick, and really delicious. All right, we're going to set that aside while we prepare our meat. So I've got 1 large chicken breast. I'm just going to gently slice it in half like this, and then I'm going to make more cuts on the inside just like this. Now the tip here is that we don't want our chicken to shrink too much when it's frying, so that's why we're going to fillet it like this. I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap, and we're going to gently beat the chicken breast like this using a kitchen mallet, and this is going to make our chicken nice and tender. The flavor of this chicken is perfect. All right, our chicken is almost ready. First, we're going to place that chicken in a little dish filled with flour. Turn it over so we've got flour coated on both sides of that chicken breast. And now we're going to add that chicken to our delicious seasoning mix that we prepared earlier. Mix it well. And then remove that chicken and just place it on a plate. Now we're going to go prep our pan here. I've got a pan with some oil. I'm also going to add some butter in there. And once the butter melts, we're going to add our chicken. Now, in case you didn't understand why we put butter and oil, it's just to add some more flavor in there. There's a lot of good flavor in butter. We're going to fry it until it's golden brown, and then we're going to turn it over. After it's golden, you can see we're just going to carefully turn it over using some tongs. And now we're just going to wait for it to cook on the other side. All right, our chicken is ready. Just take it out nice and carefully and put it on a plate. Now, this type of chicken is perfect with rice and beans. This would even be delicious with pasta. When you cut into it, you'll see how juicy, tender, and seasoned this chicken is. Cut it up and call your family to enjoy this with you. I know that they are going to love it too. I cannot wait to dig in. Enjoy.
Whenever I make this dessert, everyone loves it. So start by adding strawberries. They should just be cut into small little pieces like so. Then we're going to add some chopped green grapes. The quantity is optional, but you can kind of see how many I'm using. And then finish with this peach that's cut into pieces as well. And you want to just mix all of your fruit really, really well. You will love this recipe. It is delicious and it has such a delightful flavor. I think you should absolutely try this recipe at home. It's always a hit. Now, after mixing, go ahead and set aside, and we're going to continue our recipe in a saucepan. So start by adding 400 grams of cream, and don't turn on the heat just yet. Then you're going to add 400 grams of condensed milk. I love this recipe so much. I'm getting hungry just making it. Now we're going to add 1 egg yolk. And then 5 little splashes of vanilla extract. Add more or less if you prefer, but a little does go a long way. Now just mix everything together really, really well. Once you've finished mixing, we're going to turn on our heat to medium. And after thickening for a little bit, it is ready. So super easy and quick. Next, we're going to pour all of the cream over our fruit. There's no need to let it cool. You can just pour it directly onto the fruit. And then just spread really well with a spatula. Go ahead and set aside. And now we're going to finish the recipe by preparing a ganache. So melt 200 grams of chocolate in the microwave. Do it every 30 seconds. And after finishing, we're going to add 200 grams of cream. And you want to just mix everything together until it forms a nice ganache. Just mix well until the mixture is super smooth. And when finished, it is now ready. So we're just going to pour the chocolate on top of the fruit mold. I mean, look at how delicious it is. This is a great recipe to make if you don't know what to do with your fruit. I love this recipe so, so much. So just spread the rest of the chocolate with a spatula. And then you're just going to refrigerate for 2 hours. After that time, it is time to try our dessert. This is a delicious dessert. You will absolutely love the taste.
I've never had such tasty tomatoes. I'm going to show you how to cook them. So we're going to start by adding 1 tablespoon of margarine to a pan. Let that melt. We're now going to add some slices of tomato right on top of that melted margarine. Now you can add as many tomato slices as will fit in your pan. I've sliced 2 tomatoes here. And we're just going to let these cook until they get nice and soft. I love this recipe so much. We're going to fry these tomatoes at a nice low temperature. And then once they become soft, we're going to turn each slice over so we can cook the other side. And again, we're just going to leave these on a low heat to cook. Let's leave these to fry and we're going to continue with our recipe. Now we want to be careful not to burn these tomatoes either. Oh, my kitchen smells so good. All right, let's prepare the eggs for the next step in our recipe. So I've got a bowl here. I'm going to add 3 eggs. Some salt for seasoning. I'm also going to add in some parsley. Now you add as much parsley as you like. And let's mix this well. Looking good. We're now going to add this egg mixture right on top of those tomatoes we're cooking. Delicious. We're now going to add some chopped ham. Now, you're welcome to use chopped ham for this part. If you like chicken or bacon, that would be great here too, whatever you prefer, but I just prefer to add ham. Spread that ham all over the eggs. And the ham really does give our recipe a super special flavor. Let's go ahead and cover this and let it cook for a few minutes. And our recipe is almost ready. We can't forget about the most delicious ingredient, which is cheese. Now, I prefer adding mozzarella. I find mozzarella the tastiest, but you can add whatever cheese you like. I love this recipe. It is so delicious. And my kids love this egg recipe too. It's such a winner. All right, we've got our sliced cheese on top. We're going to add some oregano and just put a cover on that and let the cheese get nice and melted. All right, our cheese is melted. This looks absolutely incredible. Look how beautiful this is. All that's left to do now is serve it on a plate and call your family over so they can enjoy this with you. My mouth is watering so much now. This is a delicious, juicy egg recipe. Let's give it a taste. Incredible. Bon appetit. If you have corn and milk at home, you've got to try this recipe. We're going to start by adding 2 tablespoons of oil into a pot. Add in 1 cup of popcorn and some salt. Using a spatula, stir all these ingredients well. Now I haven't turned the heat on in my pan yet. It's really important that you mix everything together first. After mixing everything together well, let's turn the heat on to medium. This recipe is delicious. Once the popcorn has started to pop, you're going to want to put a cover on. Our popcorn's almost ready. Let's go ahead and set this aside for now. In a saucepan, I'm going to add half a cup of sugar. Melt this well and be careful not to burn yourself because it gets really hot. And melt this down until a caramel forms. It's always important to cook caramel on a nice low heat. After the sugar has dissolved, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And very carefully give this a stir. And you can just see how cool this looks. The texture has already changed. We're now going to add half a cup of milk. But when you're adding the milk, you just want to add it little by little and stir constantly. Don't stop stirring. Turn the heat back on and stir constantly. Finish with the rest of that milk. And you can just see how absolutely beautiful the caramel looks. This is the ideal point for the caramel. Go ahead and turn off the heat, and we're going to transfer the caramel with our popcorn. The taste of this popcorn will surprise you. Mix the popcorn with the caramel just like this. And this recipe is so popular with kids. Your children will just love this one. Perfect for watching a movie or a TV show. And just like that, our recipe is ready. Transfer this to a serving bowl and call your family to enjoy this with you. But be very careful because it is still piping hot. Now I like to finish by adding some powdered milk on top. Delicious. Our recipe is ready. I hope you make this at home. Bon appetit.
Invite the family over because this recipe is perfect. So start this recipe by separating 1 loaf of bread. And then with a knife, you're just going to cut out all of the crumbs. This recipe also works if you want to use baguette as well. And then just squeeze until a large hole forms in the middle of the loaf. Now add the piece of bread that you've cut into a mold. In all, I cut 8 loaves total for my family. And then add 1 spoonful of cream cheese inside each loaf. This is easy, and the cream cheese is going to make our recipe so tasty. Now, after finishing, just set aside to continue the recipe. We're going to separate 200 grams of ham and 200 grams of mozzarella cheese. Now it's time to cut the ham and cheese into small cubes. So this process is very quick and very simple. There's really no secret, just easy cuts. And add all of the pieces to a larger bowl. And you're going to love the taste of this recipe. It is so, so good. My family loves this recipe. They are always asking me to make it. Now we're going to add 2 chopped tomatoes after adding the ham and cheese. then 200 grams of cream cheese. I love the taste of this filling too. My family and friends, they're always asking me for the recipe, so here it is. And now all you have to do is mix it into a super creamy filling. So I add super creamy ricotta cheese and just mix patiently, and it's going to turn into a lovely creamy filling. Now this is the texture that we are looking for. You can add some onion and parsley if you prefer, and it's going to be so super tasty. Now just fill each bun with this creamy filling. You can see how pretty it looks. It looks so good. And this recipe is so easy that when everyone's asking you to make it, you'll want to cook it every day. So then finish with some mozzarella cheese on top to make the recipe even tastier. I love the taste of this bread so much. You can also substitute the flavor of the bread if you prefer. And just add as much cheese as you like. And then finish with some oregano. Look at that. This is easy and quick and perfect. So now we're just going to bake until the cheese is nice and melted. And once it is, our recipe is ready. See how tasty that looks? Wow. This is a perfect recipe, and it's super crispy, and that filling is just creamy and perfect. So this is stuffed bread, the perfect family recipe. The taste of this ham and cheese filling, it is surreal and delicious.